Alright, welcome back to the Supercoach Nuff channel. In this video we're going to preview round 5 for the 2024 NRL fantasy season. So before we get stuck into my trades for this week, we'll have a quick look at the Footy Statistics website and I guess some popular trade in, trade out options, and some captaincy as well. So Blaise Talangi as the top pick with 10.35% change. So I think that's 10% of all players have brought him in. And I think, that's absolutely what we should be doing this week if you haven't already done so. He doesn't feature in the top 10 just yet, so that might, or top 15 or whatever that is. But that may soon change. Kai Pearce-Paul at number 2. So in the Tops, Chops, Traps and Slabs video, I did sort of toss up Sean Bloor as a slightly, better value option on the edge. KPP's price is a little bit higher at the moment, but obviously he does have the runs on the board. So, yeah, I can understand why people would want to bring him in. And he's one I brought in my Supercoach team this week. If you haven't yet seen that video, feel free to go back and have a look. Quick plug there for myself. But yeah, I'd go with Sean Bloor personally, but again, I can see why people would want to get on this pick. Jamal Fogarty, so I guess if you are looking for a half option, I have him slightly ahead of SJ, just because of price, there's a bit more value in the pick. But if you like me and got Hines and Cleary, as long as you can cover this week and I've got Ethan Strange sitting in the halves this week as it stands. I think you don't have to panic on those guys, but obviously if you are looking at a Fogarty or an SJ, the plan would be to try and hold through the origin period as well, because if you're trading out Cleary to bring back in Cleary, to only trade him out during origin, it doesn't make sense. Ventukura, so obviously bottom dollar middle is always an interesting option, and I guess with the Broncos and their bench setup, they've got Corey Oates and Tyson Smoothy on the bench, so only 2 middle forwards. So I think there could be a little bit of scoring available there, and obviously he offers a bit of cover during the origin period where Payne Haas, you'd imagine, would be playing for New South Wales, Pat Carrigan for Queensland. I think that's about it. They don't have Tom Flegler anymore. So 2 spots up for grabs there, and you'd imagine if Wilson was back, that'd be 1. So maybe Takura will get a bit more game time during that period. But probably, one I'm not personally looking at, but I can definitely see the value in that. Dylan Brown, so I guess an interesting shout for those looking for a half this week. I'd have Fogarty and SJ above just because of the goal kicking. But, I think Dylan Brown is a viable option. And particularly, I guess, you are looking for origin cover, Dylan Brown will do that quite well. And Jermaine Hopgood, so, probably the elite middle / edge option. If you've got the funds to bring him in this week, do it, and enjoy the points. Finu is still pretty popular as a trade-in. I'm pretty sure a lot of his value has already, sort of come and gone. He's at 430k, and he did drop a 25 not long ago. So, I'm guessing the 42 came off the line break and some offloads. So whether he does that every week, I'm not too sure. I definitely would expect closer to the 25 than the 40 on a consistent basis. So it says that his price at 31. So this is also a good metric to go off of. I don't know if he'll outscore that by too much. So I probably wouldn't go that way for me. Terrell May, seems like a gun option in the middle. Get him in. James Schiller, so Albert Hopewadi will come back eventually, and you imagine he'll slot straight back in. I don't think Schiller set the world on fire last week. That was a replacement. That's why it's blanked out. Uh, yeah, I scored 2 tries and only got a 34. So I think that's all you need to know is that not a lot of value in that pick, unless he scores tries, which isn't always going to happen. Adam Reynolds, I think he doesn't run the ball enough to be fantasy relevant. The likes of SJ and even to a lesser degree Fogarty, can run the ball at the line. Dylan Brown is definitely a ball runner, but Reynolds does kick goals, which is a nice little bonus. But definitely more of a organizer and game manager. Josh Curran, so I'll be interested to see how he goes on the edge. Yeah, I mean, if you're looking for a dual position option, that's borderline keeper. I think he's the pick. But if you've got the money, obviously go Hopgood. And if you're chasing value, well then maybe go down to, well, there's not really. I think maybe Finu. Is he dual? Yeah, Finu's a little bit cheaper, but probably doesn't offer the points and the upside. Speaking of Finu, his brother Latu coming in for his debut, so bottom dollar in the halves, which people need coverage for. But he's going to come off the bench, so he will only play a few minutes, you'd imagine. Um, and yeah, won't score a lot of points, won't make any money, or won't make a lot of money. And then, once Galvin's back in 2 weeks, Finu will drop back out of the team, you'd imagine. Justin Olam, I think, if you've already got Talangi, it's probably a luxury trade in the centres. Because, yeah, I'm sure he has a good break even. If we go there for a second, yeah, 14's okay. He's priced at 32. So, yeah, a bit of value there, perhaps. And Fini Furiaki, he's probably made a lot of the money he's going to make. Um, yeah, it's probably been a bit slower of a burn than we'd hoped. And, only getting 26 last week has stunted that a bit. So, if you need an edge option, you could go him. Obviously, if you've got the money, go up to a Sean Bohr or Kai Paul. And on the chopping block, Piakura and Chan, I guess, clogging up edge spots. So um, if you could hold Piakura, you would. Obviously, if you're in a situation like I was last week where you need to trade someone, then, you could probably trade him out and get him back in once he's up and running. Joe Chan may have lost his spot, so that does make sense, but I guess you'd only be trading to like a Takura or one of these bottom dollar options if you were doing that. Nathan Cleary, so I have been a big advocate of holding, and probably more so in fantasy where you can cover with other halves. Um, in Supercoach this week, after sort of saying to hold, I have actually traded him out, full disclosure, but yeah, definitely holding in fantasy because yeah, I can cover with other half options, even the ones that sort of play more 5/8 or even in the centres in some cases. Kinney, yeah, get rid of him if you've got him. You know, Siwa Wong, yeah, he's out of the team, so you can get rid of him. Willison, I'm trying to hold. He hasn't got a lot of value about him if you trade him out. But again, if you need to trade someone out this week and you haven't got a Piacora and a Chan and that sort of thing, well then okay. But I think Wilson will feature a lot more in Origin than Takura. Zach Hosking, I think, yeah, we can get out of him. He's probably peaked in price. Tupanua is on the bench, so let's get rid of him. Metcalf, long term injury, get rid. Hines is on the buy, so just hold for 1 week. I know he is losing some value, but you didn't bring him in to make money. You brought him in to score you points, and admittedly he hasn't done that, but last week was good. Payne Haas, so I guess yeah, if you tried to hold him this long, I'd continue, but yeah, if you're really desperate to make something happen in your team, yeah, you can maybe chop him being out for a bit longer than a Cleary. Reece Walsh, yep, I think okay, get rid. Galvin as a whole, do not get rid of Galvin. He's only out for 2 weeks and then he'll slot straight back in. Kotrich, yeah, behind Schiller, so get rid of him. And Tuapiki, obviously with CMK back, is a sell. I was going to do captaincy, but I did just also notice that it says for round 4, so it's completely useless. So we'll get stuck into our team. All right, so if we do a bit of shuffling around, so obviously we don't have a halves cover on the bench, so we need to do some quick trades, so much so that we can get Nico Hines off the field. So we're going to run with Flanagan and Strange in the halves this week. Um, Harry Grant can come onto the field. Vlasic, slide him up. Oh, let's swap him with Galvin. So we do have 17 this week, same as last week. It does include Sam Hughes though, which is not ideal. So what we'll do as well, because we want to get rid of Tupinor, and follow the crowd a bit, but bring in Talangi. Maybe we could also play in our centres, but they play later in the round, so we'll just leave that as is. It doesn't matter when you've got 17, really. They're the ones that are all going to score. So Talangi will obviously come on for Kraz or Berber if they miss out. Um, and then we do have another trade this week, but realistically, what do we do? Originally, it was going to be to upgrade Cleese Haas, but I guess as well we can sort of look at upgrading a Hughes or a Chan. But even if it was to upgrade Hughes, if we go to players we can afford, what's happened there? It's because I didn't do it on this window. So yeah, if we go through the top 4 options in average, are all unavailable. So James Schiller, we've talked about, probably doesn't have a big shelf life. We've already traded in and out so far, so I don't know if I want to get myself burnt by that again. Happy to let him go if he does, sort of do what we expect him to do. That's just unfortunate. Danny Levi's making a bit of money, but not really interested. There's sort of nobody in particular here that jumps out. Jaden Hunt's playing on the edge. So I think, there might be a little bit of value there. Not a lot, but a little bit. Um, Wishart to the bench is a no-go. And after that, it's all very middle of the road. Not sure if there's anyone coming in for their first game this week that we need to consider. Tomorrow Martin perhaps could be a bit of value. Thompson probably not. Dane Laurie's averaging 2. That's disappointing. Harley Smith Shields, risky. Kaltoga's coming off the bench, so probably not. Sasangi's on the bench, so no. So there is actually a few debuting. Pahulu and Takura, bench middles, pass. Fino, bench, no good. So I guess the one that does stand out as an option is Tomato Martin. So if I can find him again. So let's see. I don't know if we can see his previous stuff on this. So I'll probably need to use this website, I would have thought. So, Martin. So last year played, it's only 6 games. I guess Metcalf sort of took control for a lot of it, the 5'8" spot. So he started at 313 and only got up to 378, which is what he's priced at now. So he's priced at 27, and I guess he only scored over that a couple of times with, the game against the Cowboys, a few line breaks and line break assists. Mm. So I guess, yeah, it doesn't seem to have a lot of upside. It does have job security though, which is nice. So when was he last? So when he was playing fullback, he wasn't doing a lot by the look of it. So what if we filter by position, 5'8"? So his average is 32. So there's about 5 points of value there. So it might be something. Can we? Don't think we need to filter out. There's one game where he didn't play the full. Actually, there's a couple. So what if we filter them out? Minutes over 60. The average creeps up to 33 and a half. Oh, that's very tempting. Guess probably the other thing as well is Sam Hughes is named to start this week. The Bulldogs are a little bit lighter in the middle. Although I imagine that, Curran will start on the edge and then move into the middle once they inject Caltoga. So I don't know if there is that many more minutes for Hughes. Um, but I think maybe the play is to save a trade at this stage. So, we are sort of, a bit behind the pack, 26,000. But the other thing to keep in mind is that after round 6, I think it is, so from round 7 to 12, you get 3 trades a week. So we can be a little bit more aggressive then, perhaps. I know the theory is to try and make value early in the season and get as many guns on field as you can. But at the same time, if the value doesn't really present itself, then it doesn't make a lot of sense. So, I mean, realistically, if we were going to, try to upgrade it, it could be through Haas. So if we go by players we can afford at this price point, it's never any good when you do it like that. So I mean, we could get Tom Flegler in, who I've been pretty high on in the middle. Um, Aitken, Lemuelu's soon back, so that's a bit of a risk. Could follow the crowd and get with Kai Pierce Paul, but yeah, we've probably got 3 edge players, so it wouldn't make sense to go like for like with Haas. Um, I guess where's Sean Ball? We could pull that move that we've suggested is going to be a good option, but I can't find him. There he is, 518k. So scored 35 in his first game for the year. Just have a look at the stats. So played pretty much the 80 minutes, and yeah, so tomorrow Martin's priced at 37. What's Paul priced at? So he's priced at 37. So probably about right based on his average. But I guess we sort of got him in there on potential more so than anything to, yeah. So see, like games where we played. So if we filter out the minutes over, even would 50 minutes cover it? Probably we'll go 60. There the games probably played, more in line with this. So average is 45. So I think that's good signs. You know what? I guess probably the thing with fantasy is you want to be a bit more aggressive. So let's go it. Try and keep ahead of the game. So Sean Bloor can come into the starting team. Actually, I'll start Fini Filiaki as well. Just put Salmon on the bench. Again, the bench order doesn't matter too much when you've only got 17. So we'll just make it look nice the way we want. So captain, vice captain. Thinking Grant as captain, Murray vice captain. Who does South play? The Warriors. Yeah, no, I think I'm okay with Harry as captain. So yeah, so that's the team as it stands for this week. Let's just do a quick preview of the matchup. So we've got Wepo's winners this week. So if we look at the team, so he's got Reece Robson as a hooker, which against the Gold Coast is a bit scary. Um, Reece Robson. Sorry, he's Reece Robson. Reed Marnie. I know he scored about 90 in Supercoach. I'm not sure what that translated to in fantasy, but he did have a big game against the Gold Coast. So yeah, not confident with that. Carrigan, May, and Harris in the middle. That's a nice middle combination. Tohu Harris is one that always sort of flies under the radar, but probably we should try and target him pre-Origin for sure. So we've got Curran as well and Salmon. So, so maybe Sean Bloor gives us that little edge on the edge. Pardon the pun there. So he had Hutchinson and Galvin. So probably Flanagan would come in. So that's matches up pretty well with what we've got. Although I don't have Hutchinson to be fair. We've got Kuraz instead in the centres. So could be advantage to Wepo, which isn't working out well for me this week. Ponga, Tedesco, and to a picky in the backs. So Pappenhausen will come in, and yeah, that's a much nicer wing fullback than my own. So I guess having Hines and Cleary, has sort of definitely clipped my wing fullbacks. Um, but then in saying that, we said he's going to bring in Flanagan and Pappenhausen, so that's 16. So trades, not a lot of value. Maybe to a picky out for someone that will get the 17. So yeah, probably going to be another tough week for us in the head-to-head, but that's okay. Um, fantasy's just a bit of fun, really. Something to do to kill the time. All right, so we'll wrap the video up there. As always, if you've got any questions, comments, thoughts, feel free to add them below this video. If you enjoy the fantasy content, NRL fantasy that is, give a video a like, subscribe for all the fantasy content on the channel across all the sports, and other than that, we'll catch you in the next one.